All right, let's try to make some sense of the absolute chaos that is Bitcoin. We're going to dive into the latest financial data to understand what on earth is going on with all the headlines. And it all kicks off with one, frankly, mind-boggling number.
Just look at this. Yeah, you're seeing that right. Nearly 2 billion. That's the price of a single Bitcoin in Indonesian rupiah. To put that in perspective for you, that's over 120,000 US dollars. It is an insane, almost unbelievable price tag for one digital coin.
So you gotta ask, right? What does a number that huge even mean? How in the world can a digital thing be worth so much money? To figure that out, well, we have to go back to the very beginning.
To really get what's happening today, we've got to rewind a bit. Let's peel back all the hype and just answer the most basic question. What is Bitcoin really?
Okay, so at its heart, Bitcoin is what we call a cryptocurrency. And the magic word here, the really important part, is decentralized. That means no single company, no bank, no government is in charge. Instead, the whole thing runs on a network that uses super secure code, that's the cryptography part, to check and record every single transaction out in the open.
And boy, has this idea come a long way. I mean, think about it. It all started with this mysterious paper in 2008 from someone nobody knows. A year later, it's a real thing that people are actually using. And then, and this is the wild part, in 2021, an entire country, El Salvador, makes it official legal money. A world first. From a weird academic paper to a national currency, that's a heck of a journey.
Okay, so that's the backstory. But how does that history connect to the absolute madness we're seeing in the markets right now? Well, let's jump into the headlines and see what all the buzz is about.
And man, are these headlines something else. You see this from Bloomberg? Bitcoin rockets to $120,000, getting so close to its all-time record. You can just feel the energy buzzing around this.
And it's not just Bloomberg. Bitcoin Magazine is saying the price exploded to $121,000. And they're asking the question on everyone's mind. Are new record highs coming next? I mean, the speculation right now is just completely off the charts.
So what in the world is fueling this? What's behind this massive surge? Well, a huge part of the answer, and this might surprise you, is just plain old uncertainty.
Just look at what happened with the recent US government shutdown. Investors got really spooked. They started dumping traditional US assets, and Wall Street was kind of flying blind. So where did all that money go? People started looking for a safe place to park it, a so-called safe haven, and that meant gold, foreign stocks, and yep, for a whole lot of people, Bitcoin.
But hey, it's not just about fear. The big players, Wall Street, are officially jumping in. We're talking about these things called Bitcoin ETFs. You can basically think of them like a stock that just tracks Bitcoin's price. It's a super easy way for traditional investors to get in on the action. And get this, these funds just pulled in over $676 million. That is a huge signal, and it's why you've got giant banks like Citi coming out and saying, hey, we could see Bitcoin hitting $181,000.
So we've covered the price, and we've talked about why it's going nuts. But where do these coins even come from in the first place? How are they actually made? Let's go take a look inside the engine room.
New Bitcoin gets created through something called mining, and you should really picture it as this massive global race. Computers all over the world are competing, trying to solve this ridiculously hard math puzzle. The first one to crack it gets to validate the latest batch of transactions, and for all that hard work, they get rewarded with brand new Bitcoin. And that, right there, is how new coins are born. But this mining world? Oh, it is a total battlefield. It's like this constant tug-of-war. On one side, you've got huge money pouring in, like a US miner making the biggest equipment order in 3 years. But pulling against them? The puzzle is getting harder than ever. It just hit its toughest level yet, which means you need way more electricity, way more computing power, and then, from another side, you've got regulators getting involved, with lawmakers talking about higher taxes for the whole industry. It's a real fight out there.
But with all this talk of high-tech and big investments, there's a much darker side to this story, and it involves an absolutely mind-blowing multi-billion-dollar seizure.
$7 billion. Just let that sink in for a second. That's the value of Bitcoin that was seized by authorities in a single criminal case in the United Kingdom. One case.
And the story behind it is just insane. A woman was found guilty of laundering money that was stolen from a massive fraud in China, a fraud that scammed over 100,000 people. So what'd she do with the cash? She converted it into Bitcoin to hide it and move it around the world. And now the UK government is sitting on this £5 billion mountain of crypto, which is a perfect, if terrifying, example of how this tech can be used for huge international crimes.
So let's just step back for a second. When you put all these pieces together, the crazy prices, Wall Street jumping in, the insane mining competition, and then the massive criminal element, you start to see that Bitcoin is really at a crossroads. Its future is anything but certain.
And this really boils it all down, right? You've got these two powerful forces pulling in opposite directions. The argument for growth? It's strong. You've got Wall Street's money making it feel legit, and people are using it as a safe haven when things get shaky. But the argument for being careful? It's just as strong. You can't ignore its use in major crime, and regulators all over the world are starting to crack down. For every person screaming, buy, there's another one whispering, be careful. And that leaves us right here, with the ultimate question. Is Bitcoin the future? Is it this revolutionary, decentralized financial system that's going to change everything? Or is it just a massive, high-stakes digital casino, all fueled by hype and a fear of missing out? Right now, that's not just a big question, it's the trillion-dollar question that the whole world is trying to answer.